Hi, I'm Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography based here in beautiful, sunny Naples, Florida. So, you're a real estate photographer for hire, and you do a lot of interiors and architectural photography, and you want the very best in image quality. Well, here is the Nikon 14-24mm f2.8 ultra wide angle lens, and we gave this thing a 48 out of 50 in our coveted Editor's Choice Award because it's a beauty. Now, if you're curious to know how we arrived at that score, well, stick around and find out. So first up is build quality, and right out of the gate, you know this lens was built for professional use. It's heavy, tipping the scale at a hefty 2.13 pounds. It's a serious lens. Now, check out that massive front element. This thing is just overloaded with glass to make that f2.8 aperture possible. It's also dust and moisture resistant, also known as weather sealed. Yay! On the inside, there are 14 elements arranged in 11 groups. That optical formula features a nanocrystal coating to reduce the effects of ghosting and flare, combined with 2 ED or extra low dispersion elements to help control chromatic aberration. All the coatings and elements combine to enhance the lens's sharpness and contrast. Sounds impressive. There are 9 aperture blades for creamy bokeh rendering, though as I've mentioned in previous wide-angle lens reviews, in general, you don't buy a wide-angle lens for its dazzling bokeh rendering. The zoom ring is reasonably well dampened with, to my hand, just the right amount of resistance. The focus ring, on the other hand, isn't as well dampened, but it's smooth and it's reasonably fluid. Now, on the downside, because of the nature of that massive front element, traditional filters need not apply. But that's about it. And all in, for build, the 14-24 is a physical specimen, and Nikon hits the nail directly on the head. And this thing easily earns a 10 out of 10 for build quality. So next up is AF speed and accuracy. The 14-24 is outfitted with Nikon's latest silent wave autofocus motor, which makes for some really fast, silent, and in my experience, incredibly accurate autofocus. Now, in wide-angle shooting, generally speaking, you're going to get a lot in focus anyway, even at wide apertures, so focus speed isn't always the most important factor when considering a wide-angle lens. And well, the 14-24 really is no exception. But that said, in our experience, the 14-24 locks on a focus essentially instantaneously and deadly accurately. Let me just demonstrate that for you really quickly. The beep is on, and here goes. I mean, that's pretty fast. So there really isn't anything to fault here. So for AF speed and accuracy, it just doesn't get much better than this. And therefore, the 14-24 gets another perfect 10 out of 10. So next up is optical quality and the quality of the results. Now, based on my experience, and I shoot a lot of real estate and architecture, the results that I'm getting from the 14-24 are simply the best that I've ever experienced in my real estate photography business. Hands down. The only area where the 14-24 tends to struggle even just a little bit, and this is true with nearly all wide-angle lenses, is in flaring against bright sunlight. But apart from that nit, it's a truly amazing performance. The only other lens that I've tested that even comes close to the 14-24's optical performance is the excellent Canon 16-35 f4 IS. If you haven't seen my review on that lens, it's a great lens. Now, don't get me wrong, there are several high-quality third-party options out there, and for considerably less money. I've reviewed several of them on my channel, but none of them rise to the level of the 14-24. Now, that said, as with all my reviews, rather than me talking up the image quality, it's probably better if I just show you the image quality. The next minute or two will be a series of stills and video clips exhibiting the amazing optical qualities of the Nikon 14-24 f2.8 lens, and they are simply stunning. So last up is value. And this is the one area where the 14-24 tends to raise some eyebrows. The simple fact of the matter is that the lens is excellent. It has amazing build quality, the focus is fast and accurate, the optics are stunning, with very little distortion, and the only real nit that I've been able to come up with is the flare performance against really bright sunlight. But again, nearly all wide-angle lenses tend to struggle with flare, so I'm inclined to give the 14-24 the benefit of the doubt there. But lenses that are built like this, with optics this good, have to come at a premium. And a premium the 14-24 carries, coming in at just under $2,000, making this one of the most expensive mainstream wide-angle lenses available in the marketplace today. But is it worth it? Well, I think that's a personal decision, but just beware, there's some very notable competition out there from third-party competitors like Tokina with their 16-28 f2.8, which comes in at about 1/3 the price and offers about 85 to 90% of the performance, making the Tokina a great value and a very compelling alternative, as that lens is capable of producing some amazing images. Now, sure, the Tokina isn't weather sealed, and the focus motor is a lot slower and it's kind of buzzy. And its widest, it's only 16mm and not 14mm, but again, it's only 1/3 the price. Therefore, if you want and need the very best, you're going to have to open up your wallet and bite the bullet for Nikon's 14-24 f2.8, as it simply is, based on my experience, the very best wide-angle lens available in the marketplace today. So good, in fact, that many Canon shooters have purchased adapters for use on their Canon bodies just to use this lens. To me, well, that says something. So for value, the Nikon gets a solid 8.5 out of 10. Okay, so to recap the Nikon 14-24 f2.8, this thing got a 48 out of 50 and received our coveted Editor's Choice Award. If you're a professional real estate, landscape, or architectural photographer, and you can't afford any compromises in your work or in your results, then the Nikon 14-24mm f2.8 is an absolute must-have piece of kit for any professional Nikon shooter. You just have to be prepared to pay for quality like this. This is Darren Miles with Darren Miles Photography, based here in beautiful, sunny Naples, Florida. If you like these reviews, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, happy shooting.